Hi, it's Michelle Turner. Welcome to segment 1, movement lesson training. It is the first out of 4 of my segments needed to complete movement lesson training. Obviously, I have many other courses to help you and your child when you need it, but these are the basics and the comprehensive lessons needed to learn all that it is to practice movement lesson. Now, you might be saying you're not here to practice movement lesson, you just want to start movement lesson with your child. I want to explain to you how this course benefits you and where you can take it. Why? Black Friday is here, and I really would like to offer this course. It's going to start November 4th. It's going to start November 1st, 2021 for only $200. That is to get you into the course. A lot of people have just done my cognitive vision training. It was a free training. I did it for 1 week. We need to help our children and offer programs that are available. And it might be due to price, and it might be just because you don't know who movement lesson is. So this is what I'm here to tell you on what you can do to help your child today. Whether they're special needs or not, they could be a future athlete. This is here to help with movement concerns, development, vision, milestones, all that gets included in the course, and then it goes into adult-based movements. Whether you're suffering or working with someone from cancer or that has had back surgery, rare genetics, trauma, etc. So first of all, there are 4 trainings incomplete for movement lesson trainings at this moment. Segment 1, you're really learning the movement lesson touch. Segment 2, you're getting into movement milestones, the creation of functional movement. There's a difference between just a movement. This is great. I can stick my arm out. This isn't functional. I can't feed my face. I can't do anything with it. I can't mess up my hair if I wanted to. It's not functional. It's just me sticking my arm out. A lot of movements that children that start to present with special needs and adults, the biggest complaint is, I can't do it. But what you're complaining about is the lack of functional movement. And you're really going to learn where functional movement comes from, where it deviates, but also where it gets impaired and how to work with that. Segment 3, now we're getting into diagnoses, adults, and troubleshooting, right? Are we dealing with just cerebral palsy or cerebral palsy, let's say, and amblyopia, visual concerns, and how to put that all together. And then going into segment 4, you are putting it all together. You're creating your own movement lesson, right? Sessions run around 50 minutes to an hour, but putting it all together versus learning certain techniques during that hour, and that's what you're putting it all to do. And not everybody wants to do what I do, having the largest movement library out and all of the internet on being in front of you like this and always presenting. You might want your own little private practice or just want all the information just for your child. All of that is just great. First of all, the proudest part I am about movement lesson is your online learning and support. I can't even begin to tell you when the course is open for your access, depending on how you purchase the course. Some of my people purchase this course, like I'm saying right now, it'll be only available for 3 weeks, right, at $200. But if you want to own it and go on for your certificates and so forth, owning the complete course, and I'll break that down when we have. But you get me in a private Facebook group, plus my movement lesson practitioners, plus people that have already taken the course or are in the moment of taking the course, etc., for their learning support, right? I don't know, even just on my private Facebook groups and on my main Facebook groups, I don't know of many modalities where you get the creator, right? Having your support on YouTube, we're now at 30,000 subscribers. On Facebook, I think I've got 6,000 subscribers in some of my groups. Those aren't numbers. Those are people that I'm serving. Those are people that I'm helping, right? For them to get information that's not going to help them doesn't serve me, and it doesn't serve you. So I'm very particular about that, and I have people that are around me. We have practitioners all over the world, from Russia, the UK, the United States. I'm out of Phoenix, Arizona. I used to travel the world until COVID. COVID allowed me to create this opportunity for you, which is the online training. Right? This comes in an app, which I'll explain later. You can have me on your phone, your iPad, your computer. You can take movement lesson wherever you need to go in small courses, or this where it's condensed core training that you're going to learn. Segment 1 is learning how to help your child. That's it. there needs to be continuity in care of what's going on. Maybe your child can't go to school because of their medical condition. Maybe you're in a situation or a country that doesn't provide care. Maybe you're not happy with the care that around you. Not all practitioners in any modality are the same, just like there's no two lawyers that are the same. And finding your right niche to help your child, but who better to help your child than yourself? Right? Parents and grandparents, your support that it's around you, and learning online and having the tools available to you when you need them. Like right now, I might tell you something interesting that you might not need at the moment, and that's just fine. But it's that later, I remember Michelle said something about having asymmetrical vision and collapsed arches. Okay, now I'm having issues with my child's foot. What do I need to do? Do I need to help my child's vision now, or do I help my child with this foot structure? Let's go back to that. So having the world's largest library, right, is about learning how to help your child today and tomorrow, right? The future is also our past as our going in. How your child came into this condition or how you came into condition is important, but at the same time, we're here today and we're here tomorrow, and that's where we have to help. So that learning morphs into all these different areas of your life. Learning how to initiate movement is the key. Do I have the movement down ready to initiate it, right? Like, let's say cerebral palsy. You can see early signs of cerebral palsy because the lack of initiation of going in between the hand to the arm is not apparent in the wrist. They'll commit or they'll commit, right? But having that. So you're going to be learning, let's say, how to initiate movement, and then how to stimulate the movement, and then how to enhance it for developmental movement patterns, which are what you know as milestones. You're going to be doing this around movement, around vision, around your child's diagnoses, all of that. You're going to set up your household schedule around your school and other professional services, right? How many times have you missed an appointment because you had another appointment? How many times were you not able to make an appointment because you had an appointment? This continuity of care that sets up in the house, in your home, and in your family situation, even when you're traveling, is just too important to your needs, and they shouldn't be overlooked. Whether you're doing movement lesson or not, you want to be in a program that offers or satisfy all these needs, right? But most of all, you're helping your child today through their movement. If I say, I don't want to have back pain anymore, what you're telling me is I don't want to move anymore with pain. If you say I want to reach for that cup, what you're telling me, I want to move in a way that I can touch the cup or get the cup or reach for the cup. It's all about movement, whether you're looking to change, fix, work around a diagnosis, regression, progression. I don't care if you're going for that next Olympic athlete or someone that's going to Harvard. All of those movements needed for cognitive awareness, for functional movement, all are based off of movement. We move first and then we develop our cognitive. I get it now. If I suddenly had brain damage or trauma to myself, then there might be movements I won't be able to do. But to create the way that the brain processes, period, is through movement. Our babies move first. And learning that process is different versus how many times did I go, well, if only he wasn't so hypertonic, low tone. Oh, if he could just see better. And why is it his fault? Why? So I understand being a parent as well as being a professional, because I have 30,000 hours of table times, and I've been around to about 12, 15 different countries several times. Like I've been to India 8 times, Bhutan twice, Russia twice. So I travel the world, and I know your concerns and what to work with. So what you're going to learn in segment 1 is my newborn movement assessment. There's a certification around that on how to assess newborns for rotational movements. You're going to learn about the principles of gravity and rotation, right? This is the physics behind movement. This is what we all need to know. Again, from being an athlete to a little baby. Functional touch for changes in muscles and movement. I apologize, by the way, for reading from my screen, but I really think that these are so important. Identify and reinforce rotation, because I guess all functional movement has to do with rotational movements. For your child to lay down, and you can lay down right now, and don't use rotation and try and get up. That's the complication. So it doesn't matter if your child has cerebral palsy, CDKL5, or autism. The common denominator of movement breakdown is lack of ability to perform certain or all movements using rotation. It's that simple, right? But we break it down and teach you where this makes up. I've had a stroke. I've had Parkinson's, right? I have Alzheimer's. Again, the common movement denominator of why the system, our bodies are breaking down is lack of rotational movement, right? To create function. So it goes from the day we're born to the day we pass. And this is what movement's about. It's about the science of movement, where that science has started to deviate, or you might look at as developmental delays or trauma, and then how to stabilize a system, and then going in to initiate these movements, which are even seen in vision, right? Increased range of motion. And again, how do I reach? So when you say, oh, what does autism have to do with rotation? One of the biggest thing is the lack of eye contact or pointing. How do you point? How do I point? Right? How do I look at somebody? You'll start to see it more and more. It's not just in your sunflowers. Functional anatomy through movement. So in other words, we're not pieces and parts, right? I think a lot of books and so forth get written like we're cars. The carburetor's over here, the engine's over here. So if the brain's doing this, then the heart's doing that, and over here you might have the stomach. Functional movement goes through all our minor and major organs. So whether I'm crawling and so forth, all the movement goes through my body. Now again, if I'm sticking my arm out, right, so again, that's not a functional movement because it's not going through my system. So when a baby, our other movements begin with weight transfer, where you and I go into load lift variations. That comes much later. So we can't use adult movements and try to get our kids to do it, right? That's why a 2-year-old doesn't clean the table, because they're still in weight transfer mode. And just like they're holding on to their teddy bear, that mind, they're going to do that with the dishes, and you don't want it all over the place. They cannot do these movements just because they're not that they're not smart. Their systems aren't into those movement categories as of yet, right? And we're going to go into movement possibilities versus limitations. Again, I was told every day what my child wasn't capable of doing, right? My son is now, they said he would never walk or talk, and he now goes to ASU. And that's not a brag. It's just all that needs to go in, that it's replicated, right? All that needs to go in where I'm now helping your child and everything else that's there. So day one, we're really going into what the movement lesson touches, working with the head and the spine. Why do I go right off with the head? That was the scariest for me in lots of my learning. But if you can start working with the basics like that, then everything else is a piece of cake, right? It's just like when I finally presented at Oxford, which is probably, one of my greatest achievements. Not only did I chair my section, but I introduced one of my theories in gravity and then perpetual motion in the human body. But everything else is gravy, right? And that's where the good stuff comes from. Day two, we start learning about what I call the absolute horizon, where the system is stable within the horizon, within itself, working through the pelvis, and we're going into presentations where I'm actually going to be showing you one of my movement lessons when we start breaking it down. Movement details, working with the feet, working on all fours, movement lessons for adults. We are going to be putting in some lessons with adults. Why? Because where else are you going to learn your touch? Not only from your child, but you might be saying, I'm moving all around, but on your spouse, on your grandmother, and your partner. Day 5, we get into hanging techniques. Hanging techniques is something that I teach here in movement lesson because a lot of us deal with the compression that goes with gravity brings us into, with the lack of movements, lack of vertical movement, walking, whichever you want to go into. And I teach this throughout movement lesson and go back to it quite a bit. You're going to be working on that chest cavity, and then again, you're going to be seeing more of my movement lesson presentations. But at this point, too, you're going to start seeing people starting to post their videos. This is where the private Facebook group comes into play, where, I tell people straight up, you want to get the most out of this course, post your videos. And at first, they're like, I don't want to post my videos. I've been posting videos now since 2009. So a radio DJ had said, why aren't there any videos? I can't explain what you're doing, because he tried to say I was tapping and all that and what I've done. And I worked with John, Jay, and Rich on their local syndication. I think they're in 5 cities with Clear Channel. But anyway, he created a monster. I went out literally and bought a $250 camera, which, oh my gosh, back then, having a special child, I just didn't have $250. and proudly now have the largest library of working with the human body. My goal with all of that, almost like a Khan Academy of movement lesson, not that you're learning the movement lesson technique, you are, but I want you to know that there's something here to help you, right? So whether it's vision or your spine or scoliosis or SPML or movement lesson into the segment training, this is your one-stop shopping, right? This is where you come for help. And if it's not here, then you have to possibly go to other places. But if you want to create the help you need today, it's here, right? So again, you're starting to see more of my presentations, how I'm starting to put together lessons. It's one thing people go, oh, it was great to watch you do a lesson, but I need to learn it. And this is where you're going to start getting that. Right. And then day 7, too, again, movement reviews and moving forward with movement lesson, where you're going to go from here, how you practice your home, again, your household schedule is going to set up what it's in between the next segments that are going on. Price breakdown. This is what I was talking about before. I can't stress enough right now that you're getting this or can get this for $200. Now, you'll have access from November 1st, and it'll be for 3 weeks. Right? You'll have access to the Facebook group and all of that. You'll have all the access that you have, but it will disappear, right? I'm here, to get you interested in movement lesson. Maybe you don't know enough about me. I wanted to create a price that would get you in, so you're learning. At the same time, maybe you can't afford the $1,000. Now, $1,000, $1,050, you get this in your library. It should say unlimited access because it's not limited. You get so much from my subscription site and all of that into your area of expertise, right? But that's not the point. The point is getting help for your child today. So I'm here to service you and your needs. You're not here to service me, and I just can't stress enough that right now, this Black Friday special for this year, really I had to take a hard look and how was I going to help you. And the biggest thing with COVID and everything, it doesn't matter. Sometimes people say, oh, they'll find a way to get you to Phoenix. Maybe your child has a heart condition and can't fly 40 hours on a plane. Maybe this is just one of 6 kids and you can't bring the whole family, and I've had the whole family here. So there could be many reasons why, and that's not for me to decide. It's for your needs, right? And getting help shouldn't be between you and a price. And so I just feel so strongly that everybody should have access to what I have to offer, that's what I'm going to do right now. And it's just going to be a limited time. You might not be thinking about being a professional, and maybe you are a professional. I can't stress enough that Movement Lesson is proud to say that I have physios, occupational therapists, chiropractors, osteopaths, physical doctors, professional doctors, professions of other people, visual therapists that come in and do my work to learn about vision and movement, or movement and development. I have presented at Oxford, Harvard School of Medicine, neuroscience. I'm published. I'm doing whatever I can to satisfy professionals in my life as well as parents on an equal basis. I have had professionals that say I won't be in the same class as parents. I can't tell you enough how helping people today is helping you. You're learning a new language, whether you are a professional or a parent, and that's okay, right? That's why it's a private group and all of that. I have the more complicated things that you might need, like say of anatomy and stuff, but at the same time, so when I go into cranial movements and all those courses, you're getting what you need out of it, especially developing right now my pre and post SPML courses, my cognitive vision. It is satisfying all of those niches that are needed. But to say that you're going to be a movement lesson professional, right now you're just like, I don't know if I should take even segment 1. And that's okay. You don't have to go into this whether you're going to become a practitioner or not, or where you are with that. You're coming in to learn to help your child or your child that you're working with. And that's all that matters, right? And so I wanted to take that stigma away. And again, I can't stress enough what this is. 2, 100% money back guarantee. But what I want you to do is one thing. You need to complete the course within 14 days. I need to know that you at least looked at everything that I'm offering you, and then you're saying that this course doesn't pertain to the child that you're working with. And with that, full refund will be issued, right? But I think you'll really see just in the beginnings and going through it how you're going to be getting such benefit out of this course. and the interaction of my community around you and how it's all encompassing, that you'll see, movement and cognitive development in your child and understand specifically your child's needs for helping them. We're not here to help a child with cerebral palsy. We're not here to help a child with autism. We're here to help Sarah. We're here to help Claire. We're here to help David. That's what we're here to help. And that's where the approach is. So you're going to be learning, again, personal and professional success, but what is wrong per se, but also how to set up your home-based therapy, how to work with it. And that's why I like the 3-week course. How many of you have taken a day course, 2-day course? You fly in, you go home, and you're like, what was it? Right? How many of you got the videos? How many of you got, that long term? And so having not only that you can have the time to take the course, and some of you too have a medically complex child. Even if I say, sit down and do my course for 7 days, right? I've done 9-day trainings, 7-day trainings. I have to leave everything, right? And maybe you're not in that position. Yes, you're going to be working with your diagnosis, but about stabilizing your child and working with your movements. You're going to be learning how vision and to improve it, but affects your child's movement and development or can. And again, whether or not you become a practitioner or not, those sources are there to make you successful. Not everybody wants to have 29,000 subscribers, 30,000 subscribers on YouTube and fly all around the world. I put myself, for whatever reason that this happened, in a position that's different. Maybe you want to be more private. Maybe you just want to work with your neighborhood. I believe there should be one of me on every block, right? And I don't want you to necessarily be Michelle Turner. You're bringing your flavor to this to help your community. I can only work 50 hours in a week on table time, working on people. I need help, right? And at the same time, your child needs help today, and maybe you because they're sick, whatever, at risk, I can give you 1,000 reasons, or just services aren't available, but now they are. Like I'm filling that gap, so that comes into play. And I'm doing it by an app. Did you know that Movement Lesson is an app? I should have written it down. It's Kajabi. It's a blue square with a K. Kajabi, Kajabi, right? You just get the app, and then you're going to log in with your email and password that you use for Movement Lesson Academy. It's on your phone. It's on your iPad. Where do you, number one place, do you think that movement lessons needed? When you're in the hospital, right? When you're in a position that you can't get to your computer. Well, I go with you, right? Who else can say that? And again, it's just, having the app aspect of all my courses is, I'm excited. So again, personal and professional success. So we have even mini courses. Like I mentioned, I'm working on now, I have my cortical visual impairment, the course, Unlocking the Secrets for CVI. I'm working on my pre and post SPMLs. So I have lots of mini courses to specifically help either a parent or professional work with these niches, right? As well as the training. The training is there for you to understand movement lesson, the touch, movement lesson, the movement, the physics, and all that behind what I've discovered and what I want to share with you so you can put it together to make everything else more successful. I'm everywhere. YouTube, you name it, you put in movement lesson, I'm there, right? So I'm there to support you. I have a ton of free videos, but again, you have to search them, right? And they don't have that step-by-step process. And now that step-by-step process is there because I can't be everywhere anymore. I haven't traveled now since January of last year. That's my last trip was to Australia before all this happened, and I can't travel until I know everything's okay to go and come back. So the benefit of what COVID has done for me is that I can help you globally online today. Right? Today, anywhere you can start a movement lesson course today. Now, this course is going to be November 1st. It starts for 3 weeks at $200. It starts in November 1st for you to have access to it. Again, this is for you to have that, especially for people that just did my cognitive vision training for free, and now they can go into their home program. I really want you not necessarily to do movement lesson. I want you to help your child, right? Or the children you work on. That's my goal. And if I can have everything here that you can just go down my list and help your child to where they need to be helped. But sometimes people don't know how to help their child. And that's okay. They expected someone else to do it. And that's okay. But at some point in your life, you're going to realize I have to do more or understand more on how to direct someone to help me. And that's what this segment offers you is all of that, because the way you and I move is different than the way your child moves and learns movement. If I have brain trauma, right, I lose a gap of information in my brain. If a child has brain trauma, they never had the movement information. So the movement comes there and it starts formatting the brain. It's not the brain's fault that the movement doesn't happen. So to catch that dichotomy and offer that stimulation to reorganize the way that the brain is organizing movement, that's where the gold is, right? And that's where you have understanding, or how vision is affecting your child. Help me help you today. And the greatest gift you can give your child is A, helping them today, but helping them with movement, because movement changes everything. Thanks so much. See you at segment 1. We start November 1st. And I'll have the link right below. And you got your in for $200. You're good to go. Thanks so much.